I'm pleased to invite on stage for the welcome keynote Ms. Clara Volintiru, the Regional Director of the German Marshall Fund of the US.
I can't hide my excitement. This is home for me. And honestly, it's a bit of a cognitive dissonance because after 10 years with the Aspen Institute, 3 years ago, I shifted hats and moved to the German Marshall Fund. And the Bucharest Forum is the one place in time when both identities merge perfectly in my head and in my posture here today. And for that reason, I'm taking a very personal exercise today. And I'm wearing the same shirt I wore 3 years ago when I moved to the GMF. But why I'm doing this is not necessarily to salute the wonderful organizations that have pushed together this amazingly important forum of conversation and ideas. It's rather to help us all take stock. I think this year we need to really look deep and take stock of what we won and what we lost over the past years. I'm an eternal optimist, but to be honest with you, and I think if you look inside yourselves, all of you feel that the times are as difficult as ever, that the challenges are harder than ever. And so in order to find the courage to push through the survival of the fittest, right? It's already a survival strategy. We're no longer talking about growth and, kind of how do we integrate global markets. We're talking about resilience still. It's been 5, 6 years since we're in this survival mode, in this increasingly defensive mode. And unless we take stock of what we won and what we gained in these 3 years, also what we lost and how we can prevent further loss, I don't think we will find the right process moving forward. And I think the right process is what we need more than ideas and capabilities, because we have them all at our disposal, but we don't know exactly where to put them, what to counter. And last night it was an amazing conversation at the Night Owl session where we asked, the first question was the question we are all asking ourselves: are we at war? And my dear colleague Philip answered it, yes, but we are in multiple wars. We are at war in our societies, amongst ourselves, and we are at war with aggressors and enemies from outside. And my third dimension, and this is what I want to refer to today, is that we are also at war with ourselves. Our mindset has become increasingly vulnerable. If we look at the hybrid warfare that surrounds our region, in my personal opinion, the cognitive warfare is the most challenging one that we're facing. And in our dear friends in Moldova, we found this astonishing challenge that 70% of the population in Moldova is facing severe anxiety risk, according to recent data. And that is a much larger vulnerability and challenge than any military aggression can pose. Because unless we are resilient within ourselves, unless we find hope and confidence, then it's very hard to push through the other dimensions of threat and war. So in troubled times, I'm an eternal optimist, I promise. We do have the great chance to show what we are made of. And we kept showing what we are made of. Collectively, in this side of the globe, in the Black Sea region, we're facing together, not just Romania, Ukraine, Moldova, Turkey, South Caucasus. Everyone around us is facing major threats, personal, community level, and at national scale. So our societies have gained something very valuable. They've gained perspective. We've moved from the petty worries of, how we can improve a digital service, which is something we still need to do, of course. But the bigger conversation is much larger than that. We need to think strategically. We need to act strategically. And in that sense, we are now moving towards a survival, strategic, and resilient conversation. Some people say people don't change. But I'm a firm believer that people do evolve, and that's why the conversation about survival of the fittest is the one that we need to engage with. The mindset is the one that we need to work upon. The mindset is the one that's being enhanced by this type of conversation, but the mindset that we have today will be also shaped by the actions that we take today. So it's not just a conversation of ideas, it's also a plan of action. And if we're looking at the last 3 years, yes, the Aspen Institute has moved forward in an increasingly strong presence in Moldova, in Chisinau, just mirroring the type of cooperation that Moldova and Romania has. The German Marshall Fund has moved into a wider program. Now we're not just the Black Sea region, but we're looking at the entire periphery of Europe, as the program now is called South and Wider Europe recently, and I'm very happy we have our colleagues here today with us. So with increasing challenges, we are collectively, our organizations as hosts of this event, but also you as representatives of your companies and institutions, we are all collectively moving into a wider perspective. We are beginning to think strategically because we need to. We need to adapt our mindset. Now, because my daughter always says, you know, you can't spend 2 minutes without referring to the Black Sea region, of course I need to refer to the Black Sea region. And yesterday is the first time I realized that there are waves. There's a sea there in the image that the Bucharest, in the logo and the image of the Bucharest Forum. And that shows that this forum is a forum for the Black Sea challenges. And the Black Sea challenges are our collective challenges. And they invite us to increase cooperation. And I know everyone is using this term, and of course cybersecurity will kill me because that's our passcode for Wi-Fi at our headquarters. We will change it, but it's just a demonstration of how much we believe in cooperation as a mission at the GMF. But cooperation gives us something more than shared values. It gives us a tool, a collective tool, to move past something called learned helplessness. As I said before, our mindsets and our individual resilience is decreasing under the weight of challenges. And unless we push forward together, we will be captive in a state of learned helplessness. We will no longer believe we have it within ourselves to counter the threats. We no longer believe we have it within ourselves to find better solutions. Now, what about the Black Sea region today? The Black Sea region is not just a geographical area. It's also a quest for opportunities and, of course, a theater of war. Both of them are true, and we need not hide from these truths. We, as an organization in the GMF, we have been part of this conversation on both sides of the Atlantic. 3 years ago, when I joined the German Marshall Fund, we had the great privilege of engaging in the development of the Black Sea Security Act on the US side. Now, over the past year, with my colleagues and our partners and friends, we moved that conversation across the European Union and the wider Europe, and we saw a new position of the European Union come to pass, which is the EU strategic reflection for the Black Sea region. But it's now up to regional actors to push it forward. What will we exactly build in terms of capabilities of defense and economic development in the Black Sea region? We're waiting for the announcement of the EU Maritime Security Hub, which can add on the collective capabilities in the Black Sea region, and we hope and believe that it will be based in Romania. We're also looking forward to increase minilateral, trilateral formats of cooperation across the region, those that will actually plan a course of action and not just a statement of commitment across our countries. We also believe that the hybrid threats that we share with our friends from Moldova or the military threats that we share with our friends from Ukraine are something that we can counter together, and not just in a military defenses capability. Let's look at connectivity, let's look at energy security, and let's make sure that we find these solutions together. Now, before I end my very let's say, personal stance today, and I hope I didn't bore you with all my personal reflections and stock-taking, I do think ideas are better forged together. And if it's one thing, and that was mentioned yesterday by President Joanna, if it's one thing that the Bucharest Forum has managed to push through, is really to enhance this collective space of sharing ideas, not just today, not just on the day of the event, but with the community, the regional community that the Forum and our organizations are putting forward. On that note, the policy fellows from this year's event will have their publications shared on our website and in our network as well. And we are very strongly committed to enhancing the visibility of regional voices, not just Romanian, but also Moldovan, Ukrainian, Armenian, and wider European voices on how we develop these shared solutions. And this gives us not just a new perspective, a wider understanding of a wider Europe, it also gives us empathy. It gives us something that helps us relate to each other and care about each other. We need to care about what happens in our neighboring countries because it is also happening to us whether we realize it or not. The threat of isolationism, the threat of narrow-mindedness, the threat of feeling helpless, these are the most aggressive weapons against our mindset and our cognitive resilience. So I will end on, I hope, a call to action. And my colleagues always say that I try to give a call to action at the end of a speech. And this is something I've heard and I resonate very, very strongly with. Live the present well, and you will heal the past. And God knows we have plenty of traumas in our region already. But you will also gain the future. And I do think we need to keep the focus on the future that we can build together.